Hi guys. How's the weather, everybody? I'm setting my next live for next week now, so I don't forget until the end. Next Wednesday. It's hot. It's cooled down a lot over here. It's actually nice. It feels like fall, which is good and bad. It's reminding me of work, which will be starting soon. Alright, next one is going to be on the 9th. I'm setting that now so that by the end of the live it will be up and ready to register for. Okay. Alright, it's nice over here. Feels like spring. Nice. Hello, Brenda. Just getting out of heat wave. Yeah, us too. I'm in Massachusetts, so I think we've been feeling a lot, like some of the same. I was in New York City a couple of weeks ago and it was extremely hot. It was awful. But it was pretty humid here for a while, and then we had a couple of really big storms the other day, and after that, now it's like really cooled off. It's weird. But it's, you know, it's what we wanted at that time, so it's good. It's just, I don't like when it feels like fall because it reminds me of going back to school. And I'll be starting at the end of this month. Alright, I'm just trying to get my setup. Hold on. Every time I do this, I have to set the whole thing up again. Because I'm at Ian's desk now. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. Monitor turned off. Got a wiggly cord, I think. Can never be easy. Alright, it's on. Hopefully it won't turn off. Okay, so an update. Last week I showed you guys the picture of Todd that we have. I can actually pull that up again. Let me see if I can do it in another window. I'll pull it up because I know some people didn't get to see it. So Jim, who is Todd's great-grandson, sent me this picture. I'm so grateful for that, and we have an interview scheduled with him. So next week, we haven't narrowed down a time exactly yet, but sometime next week he agreed to have a video chat with me, which I'm very excited about because then I can pull up pictures and it'll be easier, I think, on a video chat than just over the phone. And yeah, okay, hold on, let me find what I'm looking for. Got 1 million pictures in this folder because I have every picture of the diary pages so far. So it just gets bigger and bigger. Okay, here he is. Okay. So I'm going to keep him here. Of course. Okay, hold on, let me find him again. You'd think this is like the 20th time I've done this, I could get myself set up, but every time it's slightly different. So yeah, that's the major update. We're going to have an interview with him soon, and I will record that. And I'll make a YouTube video with it and put it on my YouTube page. That's something that won't be able to go on TikTok because it's just too long. So that'll be a reason to follow the YouTube page. Let's see. Ireland, forgot about the heat wave memo. Oh, raining constantly. That sucks. We've had such like up and down weather in Massachusetts this summer. I feel like there was a stretch of time where it was like it's gonna rain every day forever, and then it stopped and it didn't rain enough and it was really hot and muggy and humid, and now it's like all of a sudden that's over. So it's kind of crazy. It's been very intense, like different highs and lows. Okay, so we can get started with February, I guess. Let me pull up the page. So this is the 1947 diary. We've read two others before this, the 1943 diary and 1944, and this one is an interesting shift because it's a few years after that last one. So it's definitely an interesting, like, it's interesting to think about the break in time between the diaries. And we've definitely, like last time, there were a couple of hints to things that happened in the years between. So it's very, I think it's a cool gap. I wish we had them all in order, but oh, I have another update too, actually. So all of you have been asking and reminding me to message that eBay seller because I bought these diaries on eBay and there were lots more and other people got them because they were all sold separately. And I thought it was completely hopeless to message the seller on eBay and ask him to like reach out to the other people who bought the diaries, but he actually said he's going to do it. So I sent him like a little blurb about what we're doing and like asking for people to either like just to participate. I didn't say anything like specific because it could mean a different thing for each person. Like they bought it, however they want to participate would be amazing. So I just want to I just put some feelers out there and hopefully I haven't heard back from him again yet, but I was just shocked he said he'd try because I feel like that's something he really, like, what does he get out of that? He really didn't have to do that. So I'm really grateful for that, and hopefully it will, yeah, literally, Rachel, just like you said, just photos of the pages or, you know, like typed, I don't know, whatever they were, like whatever research they must be doing about it. Some of them, I bet, just bought them and it's sitting in a box, so hopefully we'll get at least some action from that. I don't know, I feel like we've been on a good luck streak. I don't want to jinx myself, but for a long time with this diary, with the research and reaching out to people, we were at like a standstill. And I didn't feel like we were going to get past it. And then all of a sudden things have been kind of coming together. Just in time, because this is the last diary we have. It'd be amazing if it wasn't the last one. But then what if we had to go back in time? That would be cool. Okay, so February 1st, we have a long entry. Temp 10 above 0. Let me know if you want me to zoom into the entry more. It's kind of like a longer one, so it's hard. But whenever I zoom in, people ask me to zoom out, so. Alright, so temp 10 above 0 this AM. And snowing and blowing again. My typing is going to be bad today because I hurt my wrist. We had the leaves boy? No. We had the Carver boy. Anyone have any guesses on that? Carver boy? I just have like a recurring injury. I think I've talked about this before on here, but I have something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. You can't see what I'm typing, sorry. And it's like a connective tissue genetic thing. And so my joints just act up, like different joints will, like, my shoulder will be bad for a while and my wrist will be bad for a while. So right now I'm just like having a moment with my wrist. The top is quite zoomed in. Are you talking about the entry? I did zoom into the entry because I wanted to like circle this and see what you guys thought, if it says Carver or not. Yeah, so it's just like annoying. There's always something. And I think I've just been really overdoing it with like the house stuff. Okay, let me try to adjust the Word doc then. It's hard to get everything on the screen. Okay, so we had the Carver boy shovel the driveway out yesterday, and this morning it was all drifted in again. Okay. Speaking of the Word doc, it's 268 pages long. Edna stayed, I can't even believe that, 268 pages, down again today for dinner at Emma's. Hello. The snow plows out again. Okay, maybe I can figure out. Oh, usually I think I have my head further down. I think that might be why it's been hard to read. The snow plows out again today. Edna didn't get home from work until after 6 o'clock. That seems late for her. I'm definitely going to ask Jim if he has any more pictures of Edna to share with us. 268 pages of a whole family's diaries and their lives. Yeah, isn't that crazy? And can you imagine if we... I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx us, but like, what if we get more? Oops. Okay. Work until 6 o'clock. Nellie didn't get out tonight. I guess that must mean Nellie didn't come visit, because usually she's over. Okay, Jen thinks Carver for sure. Oh, Ralph Carver neighbor, and that's why I just heard a little doo-doo. I'll look at that in a second, your message. Nellie didn't get out tonight. The first Saturday night she has missed for a long time. No, you didn't miss a lot. This is just the first day. I can put it here while I check my Discord message that Jen sent. Okay, he was 17 in 1950. So here is a census. Can I zoom in? This is as much as I can zoom in. I see him right here. So right here, Carver. And actually, here is the Delaney's. So Edna Delaney is up here. And Carver is over here. And here's Ralph. Very cool. So it's probably Ralph. Oh, thanks, Colleen. I was very nervous. I was going to say a little nervous. No, I was very nervous. But it was really fun. And it's something that, I think it's always good to get out of your comfort zone, I think. It's easy to say that after. But I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad we were able to record it. You know, there's always a chance trying to do that something will go wrong and we'll lose it. So I'm glad we have it. Okay. So February 2nd, another long one. Temp 6 below 0 this morning at 7. That's been a new thing. It's kind of cool. Like, one of the cool things about reading the diaries is the trends. Like, if you guys have been here for a while, some of you, like, I see your names often, so you remember when there was that trend where she would say, oh, nothing unusual today, or nothing unusual happened today. Like, there was, like, a period of time where she would use that phrase all the time. And now, it seems like her phrase that she's using all the time is, she says the temperature at 7. So there's some reason it must be like, but I think I said this last week, it must be when she gets up. I feel like she must get up at 7 and she writes down what the weather is when she got up, because how would she know before? It's just kind of funny. It's very specific and very repetitive. And then we also notice when she says something that's like totally out of left field too, something that doesn't sound like her. And it's funny that we can even tell what sounds like her and what doesn't. We don't really know this woman, but I feel like we do. Okay, so lots of snow on the ground and snow plows out. Edna shoveled a path to the woodshed. Oh, and Jim says he's going to send me a picture of the old family farm too. So I'm excited to see that. And I'll share, obviously, all of that with you when I get it. So she shoveled a path to the woodshed and over by her house to Laura's. And let me see that. What does that word say? I'm going to leave it blank. Oh, and got and emptied. Got? Oh. Okay, sorry. I jumped a line. I was like, what? Where are you seeing got? I jumped a line to cobs and got in a lot of wood and cobs. Okay. And emptied. I think that says cobs. Several pails of ashes. Okay. Sorry. After dinner, she went down to the bank to do some work. And Edna worked at the bank. So I have a picture for those of you who haven't met Edna yet. This is Edna, the daughter. So there's Edna, who was Todd's wife, who is the one writing. And then we have Edna, their daughter. So this is their daughter, Edna. And let's see, where's the picture of the bank? She worked in town at the Fairfax State Savings Bank. Yeah, somewhere over here. Here it is. So there's the bank that she worked at. And I've talked to a couple of Fairfax residents, and they remember her. They remember that she worked at the bank, and they remember Nellie, and they remember her friend Florence. So it's really cool to get to talk to people who actually knew her. Looks like a banker, yeah. There's actually a picture of her and Nellie working in the bank. Hold on, let me find that one. Nope, that's Firkin's page. Here they are. Okay. There's Todd. All right. So she went down to the bank to do some work. She got home at 5 o'clock. Nellie was not here at any time today. The first Sunday she has missed being here that I can remember. That's interesting. I wonder if it's just because of the weather or what else is going on. Because it seems like she was there even when the weather was bad before. But that's interesting that that's like the first Sunday in a long time, and as long as she can remember that she wasn't here. So Nellie definitely spends a lot of time at Edna and Edna's house. Monday, February 3rd. Another bad, yeah, it must be because of the weather. Another bad snowstorm. And high wind. Also a dust storm. I must say a very high wind. All night and very cold. Edna took her lunch today. Why does this sound familiar? We didn't read these yet, did we? Maybe I kind of went ahead or something when I don't know. That sounds so familiar. Unless maybe there was a similar entry. I'm not rereading old entries, am I? Sorry. Mr. Crawl was at a sale today. Got home late. When they got through... Deja vu. I know, I'm really feeling it. I'm like, what? Okay, maybe I'll have to look after. Maybe there was a similar entry. When they got through at the bank, he brought Edna home. The snow blew so hard towards the evening that I couldn't see over to Laura's. So I wonder if Laura is in that little census snippet that Jen sent us. Let's see. That might be Laura Vavra. There was a family Vavra that was mentioned before. I don't see it right. Maybe it's on the page before, but that's probably who they're talking about. Okay. We shall move on. Okay, Jen just sent me another thing, I think. Oh, and we have Ralph Carver's obituary. Thanks, Rachel. Let me show that. I didn't see that from before. So there's Ralph Carver. And let's see. Yep. Laura Vavra. Very cool. Maybe we can find a picture of their house and add that to the, what's it called? The People and Places document. That would be cool. Okay. Hold on, I gotta get my screen back. Too much going on. A terrible, cold, windy morning. The house temp was around 45 when I got up this AM. That's not very comfortable. Mr. Kroll phoned for Edna. Mr. Kroll works at the bank. I think he's the bank president. Not to walk. That he would send someone after her. So, and Edna worked at the bank. It seems like she and Mr. Kroll are pretty close. He seems to take care of her a lot. She took her lunch at noon. The wind blew terrible all day, and I spent most of the day in the kitchen. Oh, as the rest of the house was so cold all day. That's terrible. That is freezing and very uncomfortable. Edna and I sat in the kitchen all evening. I wonder if something is broken. That's why the house isn't heating. Edna and I sat in the kitchen. I forgot a sentence, sorry. Let me go back. Jimmy, thank you. Okay, sent someone after her. Jimmy Carville. Came after her. There we go. Okay. Edna and I sat in the kitchen all evening. Edna got a ride home with Mr. Stallman. Okay. Geez, very cold still. So Wednesday. Oh, come on. February 5th. 6 below this morning. Wow. The wind died down a lot during the night. Edna came home for dinner today, but it was still plenty cold. Carville was on the first page. I don't think you missed any major announcements. I did let everyone know that next week I'm going to be interviewing Jim, Todd's great-grandson, and I'll be posting that to YouTube. He gave me, I'll go back to the year, sorry. What did I write? 1946. He gave me permission to record the interview, so I'll be able to make like a YouTube video for you guys. I don't know if all of these people go out of their way to give her a ride. It seems like Mr. Crawl, I don't know where exactly he lives, but he works at the bank, and the bank isn't far. She usually walks there. I'm not sure. It seems like, so he's, Jen just, I think, said that Jimmy Carville, yeah, he was on the first page, so he's a very close neighbor. So I'm sure, I don't know if he works at the bank too, but James Carville, let's see if it lists a railway agent. So he doesn't work at the bank, but he was probably friends with Todd, I would guess, and maybe he just was doing his neighbor a favor. Okay. Yeah, and sorry I'm messing up on the dates and stuff in the typing, because, I mean, I'm not a great typer to begin with, but my wrist is hurting a little bit. Thursday, February 6th. Temp 10 above. This AM. At 7. And snowing. During the forenoon, the wind got to blowing awful hard again. And drifting. Edna took her lunch again today. I don't know what she means by that. I feel like she means that Edna, like, you know how when someone says you take your lunch, like, it means you have your lunch and you take a break. But I think she means like she took her lunch to work. Because maybe she usually comes home for lunch. I don't know. I feel like she said this a couple of times. I'm not quite sure what she means. But yeah, you think that too, Valentina? Okay. Yeah, because I feel like, what else could it mean? Like, Edna doesn't usually eat lunch and she's eating lunch today. I don't think that's what it means. I think that maybe the weather was so bad she didn't want to walk back and forth and that kind of... I think the other time that was said too, there was a bad storm, so that does make sense. But that's sweet because that means she usually comes home to eat lunch with her mom, probably. Oh, okay, you think she took her lunch to work. Your family says it like that too. Okay, that's good to know. That's the other thing. It's like reading a diary from a place where I didn't grow up. There are like phrases and things that we don't use over here that come up, and I'm like, huh. And I'm glad that I have all of you guys to chime in because you guys hear different things. Okay, temp 2 below. An irregular blizzard. It blew awful. Awful. Bad all night and drifted. No buses today and not many cars. But Mr. Crawl phoned... Oh, not many cars out. Imagine being from Romania. Yeah. That's what's also cool about this, that we have people all over the place. Did I leave Brooklyn? Yeah, I was in Brooklyn only for like a week. So, I had to type today at work with all the marketing bosses and had to ask if historical had a Y in it. Oh, okay. Wait, they asked that? Or you had to ask that? That's hysterical. Okay, Mr. Crawl phoned Edna. Hi. Did you see the room? Did you show him? Yeah. Oh, did you tell him about how it's leaking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Crawl phoned Edna not to come to work. So she didn't go. And in the forenoon... Yeah, we paid for the hoses, so they're replacing them. You know, like we paid like $30 for the hose. We got a new washer and dryer because ours broke spontaneously. And they installed it incorrectly, so we haven't been able to wash our clothes in like 2 weeks. And we finally got a new washer and dryer and it started leaking immediately. It's great. It was so annoying. But we painted a couple of rooms and they look really good. That's the house progress. It's just Ian was showing my dad. I felt so bad telling Ian yesterday when he got home, because they delivered the washer and dryer. It's like one unit. It's very interesting. It's like stacked, but they're together, and there's like a control panel in the middle, so it's a little bit shorter, which is nice. But it's like, it was a big to-do to get it into this room. So they installed it. I was so excited. I'm like, we can finally do our laundry. I started to do a few loads, and then I noticed there was just water everywhere. And it was like, oh, when Ian came home from work, he was so excited to have the new washer and dryer, and I had to break the news. Yeah, you're going to hear some noise because they're working upstairs, but... Okay. Distracted. Mr. Kroll phoned Edna not to come to work, so she didn't go. And in the forenoon, she got in a lot of wood and cobs. And after dinner, she had to go over and fill Ma's stove. So these these women are by themselves now. Not that they, need a man, but Todd, was doing a lot of this, day-to-day household stuff, keeping the furnace stocked and everything. I think at this point, Edna the wife doesn't seem to be able to do much of this on her own, so her daughter is kind of taken over. And they're taking care of Edna's mother. So they have a lot on their plate right now. Okay, go over and fill Ma's stove. She had to fill the stove again in the evening. As none of Clarence's came up. So none of Clarence's is referring to one of their, a branch of their family. Clarence Gibson, I think she's talking about, none of his family came to help. Lloyd on his way back from Omaha tonight. So that kind of explains why they're out on their own, is because Lloyd is away for work right now. Lloyd is Edna, the wife's son. So Edna, the daughter's brother. And he seems to come around and do those kind of furnace things and dragging out wood. And Edna, the daughter, does a lot too, but Lloyd is often mentioned emptying the ashes out of the furnace, so taking care of that kind of stuff. Winter back then makes me sad. Elizabeth from the Diaries podcast slept in a tent in the winter. I know! So the podcast she's talking about is My Grandma's Diaries. It's a really great podcast. And it's a TikTok account too, and they read diaries from the Great Depression, from the account holder's grandmother. And now they've started to make a podcast. It's really interesting. I was listening to it today, actually. But yeah, that sounds rough. It's funny because the pics we have of Emma are when she was young, and imagining her elderly is weird. Yeah, it's true. It is weird. That's always a tough thing. So in the presentation that I made at Rock Hall about the other diary that I read, there's this guy, Wally, and he was a big player in the presentation that I was doing, because during that summer, he and Anglesey have a little fling. And Anglesey is the writer of the diary. So I really wanted to find a picture of him, and I haven't been able to find one. I've looked everywhere. And then 2 days before the presentation, I asked, because I'm in contact with a couple of Anglesey's descendants. So I reached out and I was like, this is a total long shot, but do you have a picture of Wally Stearns? Because his brother married into the family. So I was like, hey, maybe they have a picture from the wedding or something. And she did have a picture of him. It's just him as a child. So awkwardly, if I have a picture of him, I'm putting it in. I'm not putting nothing. So in the slides, I have a picture of her at age 17 and a picture of him at age 8. But at the time of the diary, he was older. It's, whatever. We get what we can, You used to work at a museum, early 1900s journal entry. On a trip to North Canada, had to eat the horses. Oof. Oh, yeah, that's... I hope things get better for Edna and Edna soon. That's rough. Okay, temp 1 above. 1 above. At 7 a.m. Quite a wind. I wonder what Edna's doing all day. The wife. blowing, yet also plenty of snow blowing too. No trains on the Milwaukee. I can never spell this. Milwaukee. Until noon today. And that was the snowplow going east. I never really realized there must be snowplow trains clearing the tracks. Okay. We didn't get any Gazette. Oh, this is cool. I gotta send this to Grace. Grace is the reporter that interviewed me for the Cedar Rapids Gazette, and we have like an article about the Diaries, and that's how I got into contact with Jim. So like, she's very special, and I just have to send her this because that's so cool that she specifically mentions the Gazette. I have to like remind myself to do that. I'll highlight it. That's the bad thing. Oh, it's so bright. I always forget. Like, I tell myself, oh, I gotta do this after the live. I gotta do this, and I forget. Okay, Edna, and I'm gonna check my Discord in a second. I heard a couple of messages come in. Edna went to work this morning, and I hated to see her go. It was so cold and windy. That's sad. She came home to dinner today, as she had to fill Ma's stove. We haven't heard anything about Nellie in a while. I wonder if Edna Jr. goes over and warms her own cabin. I wonder that too, because she doesn't mention it, and I think probably at this point, like in this weather, I would say probably not. Because why would they try? I mean, obviously the houses aren't even getting warm. Why would they try to warm two houses right next to each other instead of just, they're probably just both together in Todd's house, in Todd and Edna's house. So this is the house that Edna, the wife, lives in right now. And on the same property, Edna and Todd actually built a house for the daughter, Edna. And she lived there, and they call it Edna's cabin. But it's just right across the driveway. But yeah, I think you were thinking the same, Micah. Or maybe because they had a fight. Yeah, so I guess, well, yeah. She might warm her house so the pipes don't burst. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I have a feeling they're probably staying together. I don't know. Then they have to go over to Ma's house, too, to make sure her house stays warm. Okay, let me just check the Discord. Okay, that one I saw. Okay, this is about Laura Vavra. She died in 1967, and this is her obituary, but there's no picture in this one. That's what Jen said. But maybe, you know, I think I have a picture of one of the Vavras. I don't know if it's Laura, though. Okay, hold on. There's some messages. Jimmy Carville. All right, I'm going to have to read those things after, but let me just check one thing. Because in my people and places, I think I have like a little, there was a really cool old book of people in Cedar Rapids. I don't, okay, was she married to a Joseph? I don't see that in her obituary. Oh, cool. Thanks, Cindy, for letting me know. I didn't see that. Can anyone in the Diary Detective... Oh, she didn't marry. Okay. So that's a family that's like pretty established in Cedar Rapids and in Fairfax, so those are probably other relatives, but that's interesting. I knew I had seen that name when I was reading that like document, looking through all the pictures, and the name Vavra stood out to me because I knew it was said in a couple of entries a while ago. So I just clipped it because I'm like, maybe they'll come up. But I guess that's not them. That's not her. And of course, we were talking about in the Diary Detectives group, I think yesterday, we were frustrated because everyone back then, every woman was just, oh yeah, it says Miss Vavra, you're right. Okay, where did that go? Every woman was just Mrs. her husband's name. And it's annoying. It's not letting me show it to you guys. Sorry, it's way zoomed in. Mrs. Joseph Vavra. It's annoying that the entire identity of the woman just disappeared, but it's just how things were, I guess. Mrs. Todd Delaney, exactly. Temp 4 below at 7 o'clock. The wind gone down some. Edna went out in the morning and shoveled some paths. And got in a lot of wood and cobs and emptied ashes. And took Ma's dinner over. Jeez. So Edna Jr. is not stopping. I keep meaning to mention this, but I don't know what they mean by cobs. Do they burn corn cobs or something? Or is that like, oh, maybe because they grew corn? I don't know. I do know, though, that my friends have a really old house from like 1720 or something, and they used to insulate houses with corn cobs. So they went in their attic and they found a bunch of, like, the walls inside were lined with corn cobs. Oh, there was even corn pellet stoves. That is very interesting. Oh, cool. You know what? I feel like we've talked about this before because I know I've brought this up, but my dog has passed away, but when she was alive and very old, she used to, like, book it whenever she got outside because she was a beagle, so like we couldn't really keep her off leash. She would just like put her nose down and go, but she would book it right whenever she got a chance right to our compost pile and try to eat the corn cobs. It's just like so gross, but it was like a primal urge. All right, she took Ma's dinner over. After dinner she went out and did some more odd jobs. Nellie, okay, there's Nellie. Nellie and Irene came out a while in the afternoon. Nellie, Irene is Nellie's sister. Oh, corn cobs were also used for fuel. For cook stoves, very cool. Bet it smelled good. They had to leave their car parked out in front as they couldn't drive in the driveway. I guess this is the longest time. Nellie? What? I feel like that's the first unfinished entry we've ever encountered. That's unfinished, right? Sorry, you can't even see the bottom. Hold on. Let me move this up. It just says, I guess this is the longest time, Nellie. And then it stops. So, I mean, I assume what she means is this is the longest time Nellie hasn't been around. But that's very interesting. Wonder what happened to get her attention, to take her attention away. Because Edna's usually very, like, all of the entries have been complete. Hasn't stayed the night, yeah. Yeah, what's cool is we can complete that sentence because we know them all so well now. And you know what else is interesting? I'm not sure. I mean, we probably could because there are a lot of names mentioned, but imagine if this was the only diary we had. Like, how would things be different the way we figure out, I just read that. Edna Jr. told her to keep my wife's name out of your mouth. That's That's funny. Oh, man. What was I saying? I was saying, oh, imagine if, like, this was the only diary we had. We'd have to take a totally different route, I think, to figure out who the writer is. And we never would have even known Todd. It would have just been Edna. Not quite so cold. That one's as good as the Just Chillin' in Cedar Rapids. Not quite so cold this morning. I washed some today and did Ma's washing too. It thawed a little during the day. They before mentioned like visiting Ma a lot, and Ma is Edna's mother, Edna Jr.'s grandmother. But it seems like now they're doing a lot more for her. Like they're pretty much taking care of her house for her. So this is Ma, this is Emma Gibson, and this is the woman who we were talking about. We only have like a young picture of her, but at this time she's pretty old. When was she born? We need Edna's family. She was born in 1861. Oh, okay, and she passes away in 1949, so I feel like that gives us a little bit of a glimpse as to why she's kind of like slowing down, because it definitely seems like she's slowing down. Allie asked, how did Ma die? Let's see if we can find out. Well, we can read her obituary here. Oh, nope, that's not her obituary. That's her 80th birthday party. These are just the things that I have clipped already on Ancestry. Mrs. Gibson's husband has passed away. He passed away in 1929. So she's on her own. Okay, here, I think this might be an obituary. We definitely have an obituary somewhere, but I just don't know what folder I have it saved in. Maybe I had it on that thing, but here we go. So, okay, so she was 88 when she passed away. That's interesting. They say surviving are 3 daughters and 1 son. They don't give the names. Okay, so they didn't really give a reason there. Sometimes, like with Todd, actually, we were lucky enough to be able to find his actual death certificate. So it like spelled out pretty much what happened to him and, you know, his whole journey from 1943 to 1944. But I don't know. Maybe we'll look a little bit harder. We'll make that on our put that on our list. Let me go and put it on the list right now. Oh, you're sending it to Discord. Okay. Rachel's coming in for us. You found it. Okay. So let's see. Oh, so Jenny sent the Find a Grave page for Laura, who we were talking about a little while ago. Wait for it to load. Laura Angela. Oh. An error. Alright, well, while that's figuring itself out. Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Okay. So here is Emma Jane Gibson's death certificate. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay. It says arteriosclerosis, bronchopneumonia. I think bronchopneumonia. Bilateral. Interval between onset and death, 1 day plus. Oh. What is arteriosclerosis? We've talked about this before. But that comes up a lot in a lot of death certificates. Her occupation was a housewife. Any other things we can get about her? Oh, okay, and it looks like she went to the hospital and she was there for 1 day. That's so sad. I don't like reading the death certificates. Makes me sad. Okay, I guess this link isn't working right now for some reason, Jenny. Hardening of the arteries, okay. Yeah, it seems like everyone dies of that. Okay. Buildup of plaque in the arteries. Temp 4 above at 7. Oops, 7. It thawed a little during the day, but the walking... I'm gonna have to see what that actually says. Hold on. Sometimes I take the picture and it's like curved. February 11th. I think it just says the, but... Yep. But the walking is awful. Bad yet. It didn't... Oh, she said it and then crossed it out and wrote Edna. Edna didn't get home from work till about 6:30. The walking is awful, but yeah. Oh, nice. Thanks, Cindy, for the updates. I appreciate it. I can't see any of that on here. Okay. I was going to say something and I forgot. Oh, I was going to check the Discord because I heard it go off. Oh, thank you. So here's a screenshot of the... Wait, so it's Wavra, not Vavra? Oh. That's weird. It's definitely Wavra. So is there a oh, so there are Vavras. Wait, what? Look. Can you guys see that? Hold on, let me... Right in the corner. Here. Her brother's name is Robert Otto Vavra. And her sister's name was Lily Wavra. So we are witnessing one of those historical name changes right in front of us. Probably how it's pronounced. Like we have Polish neighbors, one called Eva but spelled Iwa. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, but in the other, like where, I don't know where it is now, but in the other thing where I had a picture of the Vavras, they're actually like listed as the Vavras, and he talks, or Todd when he was writing was talking about the Vavras too, so that's very interesting. That it's like a combination probably of, you know, pronouncing it incorrectly and eventually that turns into how the name is spelled. And that happens, like in history, names change over time, but it's interesting to see like within the same family. I mean, even in the Delaney family, there are multiple spellings of Delaney on different records with different people. Like Todd's father spelled his name with D-E-L-A-N-E-Y, and then Todd spelled it D-E-L-A-N-Y. So it's interesting. You can see a change there, but you can also, that's interesting. Vavra. You have a family line named, I cannot pronounce that, I swear. Each kid went by a different spelling, yeah. And, like, I say this a lot, too. Back then, record keeping was totally different than it is now, and nothing was, like, automated, and nothing was easily, like, correctable on different, I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but, like, things weren't interconnected like they are now, so you could just kind of write whatever. Like, my grandfather... He had like 5 different names, and just whatever he felt like writing that day was his name. Like it's like his surname McGinnis here. Oh, okay, all different spellings. A lot of names were accidentally changed at Ellis Island. Yes, that's true. Yeah, some people spelled it phonetically. Interesting. It's just interesting to see two people in the same family with different spellings of their last name. Okay, temp 26 above at 7 a.m. The snow melting quite a lot today. Edna did not have to work. Edna today so she shoveled the front walk and shoveled enough so she could get the car. Oops. So she could get the car out. For what it's worth, my last name is chronically misspelled when I was in school. My state testing always had it wrong. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, that's really annoying. Well, you know why that's annoying too is because nowadays you can't let that slide. Like, I remember when I got my learner's permit for driving, so excited, brought it home, my street name was spelled wrong. We had to go all the way back. Like, I feel like back then, if someone misspelled your last name, whatever, like on a document, now it's like, if you don't go correct that, it comes to bite you in the butt later. And it just, everything matters that it has to be so precise. But yeah, my name is misspelled all the time too, so I feel you. Like, it's very, very rare that someone spells my first name right, let alone my last name. They always think my last name is my first name. Yeah, and your last name has many variations. Yeah, I think most last names do. It's just interesting to see Vavra and Wavra in the same, like the brother and sister. Pego. My mom's name is Peggy, but on my birth certificate she spelled Pego. I hope you call her that. That's cute. Probably bothers her though. Yeah, and you probably can't get it changed. Exactly. Technically, if middle school assessments mattered, I wouldn't be. Yeah. That's true. Middle school assessments don't matter. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember one time, so I was talking before about how I have this thing called Ehlers-Danlos and I have all these like joint problems. So I had a lot of knee surgeries growing up because my knees were like the worst. And I remember one time going, because I had to go to the hospital a lot to get like checked by the orthopedic surgeon. And I remember one time they like were checking me in and I was so used to the process that it was like I knew exactly, you know, what to do and everything usually went pretty smoothly and the lady's looking at me and I'm like, what? And she goes, well, in the record right now you're listed as, there were like 5 things wrong about the record. Like someone must have accidentally deleted it or something, or not like the record, but like in the system. It said that I was a male, that my names were switched, so my last name's Katerina, so they said Katerina Addy, and that I was like, they had the wrong age too. I'm like, well, yeah, no, we gotta start over there. This makes you want to check your birth certificate. She didn't notice it until about 10 years ago. Wow. Yeah, I guess if it's been that long, just let it go. Alright, so she shoveled to get the car out. She went downtown and got the mail and groceries. Whoa. Before dinner. Did I finish Weatherman? No, this is the last diary of the Weatherman Diaries. So we haven't finished yet, and there is hope that there might be more diaries out there, so we don't want to say like it's done forever, but yeah, exactly, Rachel. For now, possibly. Everyone, like, whatever you do for good luck, do it. Cross your fingers. Alright. She went downtown and got the mail and groceries before dinner. Edna went to see R this afternoon to do a little shopping and to see about getting some briquettes in there. That sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is. So if anyone knows what briquettes with a capital B would be, let me know. Nellie and Irene came out for a while after supper. They for the fire. Yeah, that's like why it rung a bell. I feel like fire bricks or something. Or is that something to burn? No, it must be like fire bricks. They got some meat from the locker. Ooh. A meat locker. Charcoal. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Charcoal briquettes. That's. Knew I'd heard that before. 7. Okay. Sawdust. Okay, so it's like fire starters. Compressed coal, dust, or peat used as fuel. Alright, temp 29 at 7 a.m. A real nice day. I know that Edna is using these to heat the house, but that just made me hungry for like barbecue. A real nice day. Over 40 during the day. Lloyd and Francis and Norman came out this evening. They brought Hamburg tea, hungry again, and ice cream. What an interesting combo. Hamburg tea and dessert of ice cream. Valentine's Day. Okay, it was mild. Bruschetta or bruschetta means lighter in Romanian. Cool. Look at that. I always liked that learning languages. Like, I took French in high school, and especially the Romance languages, I always liked the words that sounded the same or had like the same root. It's always fun. It was mild, or learning about like the Latin root of words. It's mild, and the sun shining this AM. But during the forenoon, it got cloudy, windy, and colder after dinner. Just wanted to warm up for them. Bill's the mast still hauled a load of briquette. Coal. Oh, there we go. For us. It's funny how many times I get stuck on something and then she answers. Coal for us from CR this afternoon. We were nearly out of coal. And they had none down here. Jeez. So we got 2 tons. Oh, 780 pounds. That's not a ton. From CR. It was briquettes, but not the kind we had been using. Okay, so that kind of talks about, we were just talking about how briquettes can be made of all different kinds of things, so they must have been using a different kind and now they can't find them anywhere. So that's interesting, and I'm adding this to our list because I bet there was like a shortage at that time, because it sounds like they couldn't find a way to heat the house. I'm just going to put all these in different messages and then I'll put them all together after, but this is just a reminder for me later. That would be interesting to read, like newspaper articles and stuff. I'm sure that they're talking about the cold streak and the lack of fuel. All right, Lloyd, Francis, and Norman came out this afternoon. Lloyd and Norman shoveled the big drift that was in the lane and the sidewalk in front. So as a recap, Lloyd is Edna, the wife's son, and Norman is his son. So Norman is Todd and Edna's grandson, their oldest grandson. Okay, it was frozen hard and was hard to shovel. Edna went to CR after work, and Nellie came out with her in Edna's car also. Oh, in Edna's car also Laura came with her. 1 second, Deb, I'll answer your question 1 second. Ooh. They got home for supper. So Jim is Todd's great-grandson. So his dad was Roger. And then Jim's grandfather was Lloyd. So Roger is, I think he's the youngest son of Lloyd. Or maybe that's David. Let me see. David is the youngest. So Roger was born in 1930. You're welcome. What year was Jim born? I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, I know. He could be mentioned in some of Edna's like later diaries, but yeah, I know. He could be. Yeah, Norman is the oldest, thanks. He definitely, unfortunately, didn't know Todd. So I think that was interesting for him. We did talk a little bit over the phone, and I think that's interesting for him because I was explaining how Todd had his cerebral hemorrhage and he stopped writing. He's like, I didn't even know that. So it's really cool that he's going to. I don't think he watches my live. No, he doesn't really he doesn't have TikTok or anything. But I did give him my YouTube, and I don't know if he's watched anything, but he's always interested to talk separately though. So when we have our Zoom meeting, or not Zoom, but like Google Meet meeting or something, I will show him some pictures, and I'll show him the diaries, because I don't know if he's really seen them other than the few pictures that I've sent him. 1956, okay. Hello. The DDs, I love it. I'm actually making a patch, I've decided. We've been talking about it in the group. And we need like a pin or a patch or something for the Diary Detectives. I'm going to try to make one because I'm in a printmaking class right now. And I'm doing a lot of prints based on the diaries that I read. And we're going to make a Diary Detectives patch. Very official. Okay, February 16th, 1947. Edna and I went out to Edna Perry's. Interesting. That's a new Edna. 3 Ednas. Yeah, we might know more about his family than he does. This part of the family. The family from way back then. What does he think about strangers digging into his family history? Well, he doesn't seem to be too bothered. I mean, he's grateful that we've connected because he didn't know that these diaries even existed, so. And they're getting, I'm giving them back to him, so I think he's really thankful for that. Throughout, I've been doing this for a few years now. Only 2 diaries so far, 2 sets of diaries, but so far, returning photos to people, reaching out for more information from relatives. I haven't gotten anyone who's been, really, not into it, Because I think, there is that element of, that's kind of strange to be, reading someone's intimate thoughts in their diary from way back then. But the other part is, it's usually bringing a family heirloom back to somebody who didn't even know it existed. And I know I would be thrilled if someone, contacted me about my Vava's diary or something. That would be it would be weird at first. Like, definitely, I can imagine that. But I think that most of the time people are happy just to, like, know they exist. And a lot of times people are also pretty, I want to say, like, not impressed, but, like, excited about how excited I get about it. So that's kind of what it's like with Anglesey's diary, too, because I've really gone into depth with that one, and I've, don't most people write diaries to be read? I don't know. Depends who you are. So who sold the diaries to you? His family? I bought the diaries on eBay from just, I think, an antiques dealer eBay seller. So I think they probably came from an estate sale or clean out or something. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think the family knowingly sold the diaries to them, because Jim doesn't seem to, like, even know that they existed. So, I mean, he knew that the family they were all diary writers, so he wasn't surprised. But, hi, Audra. But, what was I saying? I didn't buy it directly from them, no. Yes, it helps that there's some time distance, definitely, to be able to read them, because it is true. It's like I had someone find me on Ancestry and return a family scrapbook to you. That is awesome. Yeah, we do this in hopes that someday something will come back to me. I would not want anyone to read mine, but if it's 100 years from now, I don't think I'll care. Yeah, exactly. I know, there is, like, some ethical, like, dilemma about it, but for me, I feel like more good has come out of it than bad, and I think that we're pretty respectful the way we do it, so it'd be different if we were, like, I don't know. I think a lot of diaries back then were a little bit more boring, too, than they are now. Or not boring, but, like, less spill your guts kind of, like, private thing. It was more of, like, a daily log of what happened. So that's also a difference. I would never take a diary that's 10 years old and read it on the internet. Like, I don't know. I don't know where the line is for me, but it's definitely, there's a line. Because I did get, actually, I was really excited, and I got some diaries they're like from the late 70s. And I was excited because they also had drawings in them. And I'm an artist, so it was, like, really cool. It was like a combo sketchbook and diary. And then I realized, like, this is from the 1970s. Like, I don't think I can read this. I was going to, like, do it on live like this, and I don't think I'm going to, because they're, you know, in 1947, some of these people are maybe still alive, but, like, the main characters, Lloyd, Edna, like, they're all not around. It's not like we're outing them or doing, I just feel like, I don't know. I don't think the 1970s one is something I'm going to do on live, but if I do study that one and try to, you know, connect with relatives, I'll probably change names. Like, I'll find a way to anonymize it if it's a, you know, good story. I think it used to be a way of keeping track of chores and the weather and just to pass some time. Yeah. Yep. Imagine ours. Sent out 10 emails today, went to therapy, stayed on TikTok, cried. Nice. Yeah, I actually do keep a diary now. A 5-year diary, so there's a small area for each day, and then, like, the next year you go around again and you write the next one. And it's been really cool to read, like, what I did last year compared to this year, but that's basically what mine look like, because it's so short. Now it's been, oh, we painted this room today. Oh, the washer's broken. Oh, we did that. Like, there's always something with yes, literally, Rachel, you read my mind. Keeping note of the home improvements and the setbacks, for sure. The next big thing is we're getting our floors refinished, which was not part of the plan. That's never part of the plan, right? But we realized, like, the floors, when we came in the open house and did the, you know, inspection and everything looked good because there was, like, furniture. And then once everything was moved out, we noticed there are some areas that are, like, not doing too good. Like, the hardwood floor is, like, basically raw in a lot of places. So we're like, oh, this sucks, but this is the only time that the house is going to be empty or easily emptied. So now we're moving everything down into the basement. Like, everything we own is down here so that we can do the floors. That's happening Saturday. I'm just going crazy. But it's a good crazy. Like, I'm excited. I'm so happy that we got a house and that we were able to do a lot of this stuff on our own. But Is that under warranty? The house or the floors? Oh, man. Oh, you read a diary you wrote when you were 16 and it made you laugh till you were sick. That's funny. That's great. You're reading a 1905 diary and she talks about working on a scrapbook. Oh, yeah. I know. I'd love for you to find that too. The 1917 diary, she talks about a theater book and a theater scrapbook all the time, and I would kill. I wouldn't, but I would love to see that theater scrapbook. I can imagine it, you know? Because in the actual diary, she'll paste, like, cast clippings that says who played what and where the, like, which theater it was at, whatever. But I bet in the theater scrapbook, she, like, pastes pictures from the programs, and, oh, it would be so nice. There was a question before that I missed. Can we get a recap of what's happening in the 1947 diary so far? Lots of bad weather. Lots of bad weather, and Ed Firkins passed away, which is sad because we knew him. He was the drugstore owner in town, and he was like a hero and a badass, and he unfortunately passed away. But there's just been a lot of bad weather. Things breaking, cars not starting. Had a whole entry about Jesse McCartney. I used to love Jesse McCartney. The podcast Mortified was amazing. People read diary entries from when they were teenagers. That's funny you say that because M, who's in the Diary Detectives, sent us. She actually performed on the Mortified. I don't know if it was the podcast or if they did. I think they also did, like, it was a video. But yeah, she performed and she read her, like, middle school diary. It was great. I think it might have been high school diary. Oh, it was so good. All right. Edna and I went out to Edna Perry's for an anniversary doings. For Mr. and Mrs. Edson's Eklund, I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, I'll also show the picture of Todd if you missed that. That's like a huge update in the Edson. Alright, we're going with Edson. Oh, Edson. I think that's Edson, period. Okay, let me get this back where it belongs, and then I'll show the picture of Todd. So we did get this picture of Todd from his great-grandson, Jim. That's like the biggest update for 1947, but it could be Eklund. I'll put this. And I'll also put them in here. Okay. There is a C, you think? Okay, let me look back. Yeah, it's tough because you have the G from above that's coming in and kind of like distorting it a little bit. And then, so that's definitely an E because that's how she makes her E's, but it's hard to tell if this is a D or a CL because of that interruption, but we'll be able to figure it out because we'll find them. Okay. Oh, wait. Mr. and Mrs. C. Yeah, you're right. C. Edson's. Which gives us more of a hint. You're right. I missed that letter. I jumped ahead. Okay. Let me move this. It's so hard to get everything on the screen. Okay, in the afternoon. There was a big crowd there. They got several nice gifts. On our way home, we stopped to see Mary Ellen Politz. We hear that name quite a bit. Who has been ill a long time. With Malta fever. whatever that is, doesn't sound good. From there, we went in. From there, hold on. From there, we went into Lloyd's for a while. We seen Norman's puppies. Cute. Edna took Nellie into Sunday school, and Ma went along to Blanche's. Blanche and Norman brought her home. Okay. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Mary Ellen Hollett's Malta fever, because we're gonna learn about that. And then I did hear my chat going off. Let's see. Oh, we have some charcoal briquettes in here. Thank you. Love it. I'm gonna take a picture of that little of that bag and put it in the entries. Clara Hammond Edson. Okay, so we think we found Mrs. Edson. Yeah, Mrs. C. Edson. Okay, so there she is. Wait. No, it can't be. But this might be a relative. This can't be, because she died in 1933. Wrong date. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. We'll find her. We always do, right? Okay. Okay, I did that one. And when she says she brought Nellie to Sunday school, that probably means Nellie was teaching Sunday school, because Nellie was a teacher. Okay. Temp 32 this a.m. At 7. It rained a little and snowed a little during the day. Also thawed. Oh, that's good. So it's getting a little bit warmer. Nothing of interest today. Just the usual routine work for both of us. Aww. Oh, Malta fever is also known as Mediterranean fever, bacterial disease caused by direct or indirect contact with animals. Eee. So she's been sick for a long time with that. Now I want to know the symptoms. I'm sure it's pretty typical of other infections, but temp 12 above at 7 a.m. Or drinking unpasteurized milk. Okay, yeah, that's. Yeah, I wonder if any of the farm animals around there. I'm looking something up. What year? Okay, so antibiotics were invented in 1928, but I wonder when they began being used widely. Because I wonder if they were even treating her with antibiotics. It's late. I don't know, late 1940s. They probably were. I feel like I was surprised. I had looked that up because in the 1917 diary, people were really sick, and I did a video just about the different illnesses that were brought up, which were crazy. And, well, I guess that was 1917, so I was surprised that there was, basically nothing they could do. And you know what it was? It was a lot of vaccines came out way later than I realized. Symptoms can come and go for a long time, include fever and joint pain. It reminds me of Lyme disease. Found an article about it in 1947. Okay. Oh. Thanks, Jen. Brucellosis has increased among farmers in Iowa. The State Department of Health is conducting tests, particularly among farmers who work with animals, on brucellosis, a disease that appears to be on the increase in Iowa. I'm assuming that, known as multifever, yep. If the present rate of incidence continues through the remaining months of 1947, the number of cases will average about 20 more per month than last year. Last year's total was 638 cases, slightly more than 53 per month. And so far, this year, there have been more than 579 cases, or about 72 a month. Ooh. Ugh, it reminds me of, like, everything that happened with COVID. Like, ugh. Like, the way it just began, like, things are, more people are getting it. Dr. Carl F. Jordan, director of the Division of Preventable Disease, said the disease was most common among farmers and persons whose work brings them in direct contact with animals. There are 2 known ways in which the disease is spread: direct contact with diseased animals and the use of unpasteurized milk and dairy products. And it's known as multifever. In cattle, it's called Bang's disease. That's scary. Oh wait, does that say anything about the, Oh, okay, but they can vaccinate calves. I want to know, like, what the death rate is. Wow. The germ goes through the skin. Oh, and it doesn't transfer. They think it doesn't transfer from person to person. That's very interesting. We can go into more depth about it. Maybe we'll find some, like, pictures in old medical books or something. Temp 12 above at 7 a.m. It stayed very chilly all day. I washed a little today. Also did Ma's washing. Laura came over in the evening and brought Edna a box of candy and some eggs. That's nice. Eggs. Very nice of Laura. Temp 4 above at 7 a.m. Nellie came out this evening and stayed all night. See, that's typical. Like, she says that a lot. Oh, wait, hold on. She came over for a while. I missed something. Laura came over in the evening for a while. Okay. But Nellie stayed more than a while. She stayed all night. Jim Yanasek was here to assess me today. Assess me. Okay, that must be... Oh, okay, that could mean a couple of things. Could mean he's a doctor, or maybe she means, like, assess the land or something. I don't know. Weird phrase. Thursday, February 20th. Temp 12 above at 7 a.m. It snowed at Iowa City and Waterloo today. 2 inches at Iowa City. Just a gift of snow here. It stayed rather cold all day. Temp 8 above at 7 a.m. Lloyd and Francis and Ma and Mrs. Flynn came. Hello, hope you're having a nice day too. Lloyd and Francis and Ma and Mrs. Flynn came out this afternoon and brought some, well, every single time. I still need to make some of these coloches. I say it wrong, I'm sure. And ice cream. They've had lots of ice cream lately for such a cold time of year. I guess it doesn't melt when they're bringing it over. Ah. Okay. Oh, interesting. Washington's birthday is marked in this diary. This is the same type of diary, I think, as the other ones, like the standard journal. Is it? No, this one's a little bit different, actually. So the first couple, let me grab them. Hold on. The first couple of diaries that we've read from this family look like this. They have this title, the Standard Daily Journal, which was very popular back then. You see a lot of these if you are looking on like eBay for old diaries and stuff. But this one is slightly different. It just says diary. Actually, let me look. Now, this is the Marquette Diary and Daily Reminder. So it still has a page every day, and the format is very similar. Like, it's almost the same exact page setup, but those don't have Washington's birthday noted in it. I would remember that. Okay, Edna was home this forenoon, but went down to the bank. Oh, our diary detective group has grown in the past week, too. We have 2 new members. Okay. Went down to the bank and worked until about 3:30 in the afternoon. And then went into CR. Is there a decision on the next diaries we'll read? Not yet. I think we know which ones we're going to read next, but that'll be up to the detectives group. Hopefully, the guy from eBay will get back to me and we'll somehow magically get another diary from Todd's family. And if we do, that'll be the next one. But I doubt we'll get... I mean, I don't know. I get my hopes up, but I probably no one will answer us, but if they do, that would be the next one. And then we do have a group of diaries that was donated to us by someone from the area of like the Fairfax area. They're not related to Edna and Todd, and they're not from Fairfax, but they're from Iowa, so it'd be cool if we read those next. If Edna were a male, she'd probably be the bank vice president. Yeah, that's true. She worked there for, I knew this off the top of my head before, but it's in her obituary, like many, many years. Okay, Edna was home this forenoon, but went down to the bank and worked until 3:30 in the afternoon, and then went into CR afterwards. Oh. To do some shopping. Not fun shopping, I'm sure. She brought Laura out, and Nellie rode out with her and left her car in CR. They were home in time for supper. Okay. Every time they say CR, they're talking about Cedar Rapids. they could mention the Delaney's in it. That'd be so cool. So Carly, you can definitely, like, you can do this. And we can do this, like, while we're on live. Like Deb said, you can research during the live. That's what. The Discord, actually, there is a free, like, well, I have to make sure it works, but a lot of people say it doesn't work when they click on it, but there is a free version of the Discord where you can see, like, my announcements and stuff, and you can message me on there. So you can definitely still work with us. We don't actually do any transcribing of the this Weatherman diary on the Diary Detectives. It's mostly other things that people bring in. So this is all, like, real time. We do this together. But if you sign up, if you do, like, the free version of the Discord, you can message me. Like, there's no fee for that. They were home in time for supper. And the only reason there's a fee is just because, like, if it was open to everybody, it would be kind of crazy in there, I think. But yeah, feel free to message me. I always answer. Yeah, we help each other out with our own projects and stuff. Everyone kind of brings their own research project to the table. And maybe someday, like, I'm actually surprised that I've gotten the Discord going pretty steadily. But someday, maybe we can figure out a different, like, I don't know, like a website or a more collaborative way where, like, anyone could kind of post if they need help with something or, like, collaborate. But I think opening it up to the entire internet right now would be too much for me to keep track of. There's always people who want to ruin it, you know? Temp 6 above this AM. And very windy. Edna took Nellie into Sunday school. So Nellie must be teaching Sunday school, as she didn't bring her car out last night. Edna did some washing and some pressing today. It's actually very nice having a quiet live this morning. Oh, you think it's quiet? Antique detective magnifying glasses ain't cheap these days. I actually today was trying to I want to build like a smartphone projector for one of my classes that I'm taking. My professor wants me to do that and, like, project my prints. And I needed a magnifying glass and I don't have one, so I have to go to the store. Edna did some washing and pressing today. She went over to Ma's with her dinner, and in the afternoon went over to Laura's a while. Laura has been a real good friend of them lately. I feel like Laura was never mentioned before, and in this diary she's mentioned quite a bit. We need an antique magnifying glass, yes. And actually, that might be a good design for our patch, because I was toying with, like, different ideas on my iPad, and I drew just like a very just like a line drawing of a very basic magnifying glass. I was going to do like a magnifying glass and a diary, like a book. But now I'm wondering if maybe just like a beautiful antique detailed magnifying glass might be even better. And I don't know if I was gonna write like Diary Detectives on it, but I feel like, I don't know, DD just, is that cool or is that weird? I just think of bras. But like, so I don't know if DD is what I want to put. Okay, temp 14 above. So you guys can give me your input, of course. But, temp 14 above at 7 a.m. A chilly wind blowing, and did blow all night. Lloyd made his first trip to Omaha on the morning train. It's supposed to go around 5 o'clock. I washed some today. Also did Ma's washing. So Lloyd had taken an exam recently, most likely for his job, maybe for a promotion or something. But did they mention if he passed the exam or got any promotion? I don't remember any mention of that. So maybe they don't know if he passed yet, or maybe, you know, this first trip on the morning train, maybe that's what he was trying to, like, get. I don't think he did, because I think we would remember. Maybe that is what, I don't know. Or maybe she just didn't mention it, but she mentioned him taking the exam. He had the double Ds. Oh my God. I'm definitely not a double D. You get so much done at home listening to the lives. That's nice. Little background. Yeah, I'll send you guys on the detectives group. I'll send you some choices. We'll have a vote. It would be cool to have something kind of like with an abbreviation, so only like we know what it means. Or maybe just something simple like a magnifying glass. That would be cool. Okay, temp. Right now I send stickers to the people who sign up on Patreon. I send a sticker. And if you just signed up, I haven't sent yours yet because we just moved in and it's like a mess, so it's going to be a little while. But maybe I'll change that to the patch. Or maybe I'll make a sticker with the patch design on it. We'll see. Temp 20 at 7 a.m. and a very cold northwest wind. She used 2 words, so I'll do that. Edna has a cold and don't feel very good. Leo or Les. There is a Wes, said Lesec, though, so I think it... What do you guys think? Leo? Or Les? Finished up with the income taxes at the bank. Leo? Okay. So I wonder, he must work at the bank then. He must be the tax man or the accountant. All right, a short one. Ian's listening to some good music up there. He must be cooking something good. That's what I love about these lives is I type away and I talk to you guys, and then right after I'm done, he usually has something really delicious to eat. He's a great cook. We each have our own strengths, and I'm not a bad cook, but I'm not a confident cook. That's the problem. Like, he's confident. He'll just throw things together, and I'm always, like, kind of nervous. And even when I think something's good, I'm like, is it actually good? Like, do other people think it's good too? So, I'm just a little bit of an anxious person. Temp 20 at 7 a.m. A very raw wind blowing. He's getting back into sourdough now, too. He was really into sourdough during the pandemic, like a lot of people. And now that we have our own place and we're both, like, able to feed the starter, we're going to have some good bread soon. You love to cook, too, Micah? Good for you. I cooked a lot when, like, I lived in an apartment when I was away at college. And I, like, cooked for myself. I ate. And I got, like, I got some recipes that I went to a lot, but... Then I moved back home, and I just kind of forgot. I'm sure it would come back to me, but I feel like I watch Ian, and it's so intuitive for him, and it just doesn't feel like that for me, so I feel kind of, I'm a self-conscious cook. Like, I second-guess myself. I used to make a really good shrimp Mozambique, though, and I think I could still do it. It was windy all day, and very raw. I was over. And you know what I love? I love the slow cooker. I love making soup. Yeah, slow cooker. I like just putting everything together. And do I hear Ian's cooking stream in our future? We could get him on. We have a very small kitchen. But he likes it. He says it's functional. I was Uber and cleaned Ma's house up some this afternoon. Edna still has her cold. Ian actually said to me, I think it was yesterday, he said, you know, if I didn't have to make money, I would own a restaurant. Which is sad. And then he said maybe someday he'll own a food truck. That would be great. Temp 12 above at 7 a.m. A very chilly wind. Nothing unusual today. Edna had a full day at the bank, as it was the end of the month. Busy time, I guess. Diary Detectives Dinner Delight. Love it. Love the alliteration. Oh, that's it. That surprised me. That snuck up on me. Okay, well, that's the end of February. And I actually don't even have any more entries photographed, so we do have to stop there. So next week we'll do March. We do have a long entry for March 1st, but I don't have pictures of it, so we can't keep going. I feel like we were in such a groove. All right, so we basically had a month full of terrible weather and lots of sickness, which is sad. And not much Nellie, which is kind of like surprising and a little concerning, but Nellie seems to be back in the picture now. We have a few people who we're going to look up more. A few topics we'll do some research on, but I see a couple of... Oh, Valentina said, could this be Leo? Oh, there's a whole book on Iowa's brucellosis. Oh, no. That means it must be... It must have continued. Oh, yeah. Okay, Leo Charles Sedlacek died in 1950, so yeah, this could be him. I wonder if he worked at the bank. Oh, we've got lots of pictures. Ooh, cool. No, I don't want to change the picture, sorry. I'm like really not well versed with family search. Okay, let me... There's a way that you can see their... This must be memories, the pictures. Okay, here. Leo. Oh, he played the violin. High school string quartet. Look at these outfits, I love them. I wonder what year this is from. Leo Sedlacek. Oh, the viola. So, oh, wait, no. Wait. Is the viola small? Or the viola? I thought the viola was big. I've noticed that they don't ever watch TV or listen to the radio. Yeah, that's true. They do talk about the radio sometimes. Very rarely they'll say, like, oh, we heard something on the radio, and then the last month in January they were talking about how Ma's radio broke and she like doesn't know what to do with herself now because her radio broke. Yeah, this is a nice picture. I like this. Bessie and Leo. Oh, TVs were just starting to be mass produced in 1947. Wow. See, I thought they were already kind of, I don't know. I don't have any I'm not like really well versed in that kind of history, like with the antibiotics. Like I don't know when things were placed in history very well. Okay. Oh, he died at 47. Oh, okay. He was employed by United State Bank for 13 years. Trying to see if any of these people ring a bell. Any names? I feel like we've seen Simonek before. Maybe not. Similar last name, but... yeah, the viola is more advanced, I think. Oh, okay, so it's the same size as a violin, but it's just, like, more fancy. I know I have to change strings on my daughter's violin, because apparently it's viola. Oh. That's funny. Cool. So when you master the violin, they put you on the viola. Is there a movie theater in town? They don't seem to have much entertainment. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about a movie theater in the Diaries. It seemed, well, especially in Fairfax, I don't think there was much going on. There was like they had the Masons, like the Mason, Masonic temple, and they went to a lot of dances and things there. But yeah, they don't really, like, a lot of their life, it seems like, was just taking care of their property and spending time with family and going to work. Yeah, it seemed like, yeah, there definitely was one in Cedar Rapids. Everything they did, pretty much, they went to Cedar Rapids for, like, shopping, going to see family even, doctors, they're all in Cedar Rapids. There are a couple other towns around there that were bigger than Fairfax, but Cedar Rapids was usually the place to go, it seems. Fairfax was tiny at the time of the diary. It's still a small town, but there were like less than 300 people who lived in Fairfax when this diary was written. And that's why everyone knows each other. And, you know, the neighbors, it seems like they're really friendly with their neighbors and everyone helped each other. So, yes, everything was more manual back then. Very true. And, like, time consuming. The bank that Edna worked at was in Fairfax. I don't know. Let's go back to where they mentioned Leo. Yeah, so Edna worked at the Fairfax State Savings Bank. I'm not sure if Leo Sedlicek worked at the same bank or a different bank, but that one was in town, yeah. I have a couple of old maps of Fairfax, I think. These are some pictures of the town that Kelly took for me. This is an old map of Fairfax. This is from 1906. So Todd Delaney's house was about... Okay, so this says Thomas Delaney. Hold on, let me make sure you guys can actually see this. Let me get rid of this. I'll move me. So this says Thomas Delaney. That's actually Todd's dad. He owned a lot of land in Fairfax, and then when he passed away, that land got split up between his children. But Todd's house was right about here. Or maybe up here, I don't know. It's somewhere along this road. And you can see the railroad on the top and the bottom. And let's see. Take a little... There's not really much labeled on this map, but there is... I think that the post office is somewhere over here, and the Star Bar, which is the hotel that we have that picture of. I can show you that picture after, but that's somewhere over here too. So is the old Masonic temple and a couple of churches. So this is like the main street of Fairfax. And that's basically it, I think. Like, I don't think it's a very big town. I can't zoom out for some reason. Oh, here. It's a lot of farmland. Now I'm sure there's more, like, houses, but... let's see. There's another picture. And there's a quarry in this one, too. And Todd does talk about going swimming at the quarry. This is a map of Fairfax, too. Let's see. It's blurry. Probably couldn't get the whole... Oh, here, look. Here's Delaney. Let me move like that. Okay, so this is Fairfax. Come on. Okay. Oh, I guess this is just a zoomed in one because you could see Delaney's house here. But yeah. All of these pictures are available on my website too. I have this Google slide. It's basically just all the people and places that we've collected. Not all of them, because I've gotten bad at putting them in here, but here's Todd. I added him in. I'm so excited. Oh, I haven't yet. I can share that, Rachel. Yeah. So let me grab it from here. I don't know how I'm going to find it in here. So there's an article in the newspaper of a Delaney, Thomas Delaney. What year was it, though? I don't know. Where he went out on a boat with 2 other people, and one of the people rocked the boat, and then he swam to the surface or to the land to get help, and the people on the boat died. So, like, we had found an article that was just, like, I was like, oh no, is that our Todd? And we think it probably, I mean, it could have been. Alright. Do you have to give the pictures of Todd back to the family member? I don't have the actual pictures. This is actually a, he sent me a picture, like a screenshot. He sent me a text. You can see him better, yeah. There's Todd. But yeah, so when I first talked to Jim, like right when that article came out, that's when we connected, because Grace King at the Cedar Rapids Gazette connected us, sent me his contact info, and he didn't think he had a picture of Todd, his great-grandfather, but eventually, you know, he started looking through, after we talked, he started looking through all of his records, and he found one, and he sent it to me. And he sent this to me the day that I did my presentation on Anglesey. I was like, oh god, so many things going on right now. Jen says she found a picture of the Elsons. Okay, so it's Elson, not Edson. Mr. and Mrs. C.A. Elson. Mr. and Mrs. C.A. Elson will celebrate their golden wedding anniversary. What year was this? Is this the same year? Yeah, how cool is that? That's the same year. Thanks, Jen. What a great find. Okay, so this is a great place to end, I think. This is an article, a newspaper article. I love when things like line up like this. Let me make sure you guys can see, because I moved a bunch of stuff around. But, so on February 16th, they went to a anniversary doings, which must mean like celebration, for Mr. and Mrs. C. Elson, apparently. In the afternoon, there was a big crowd there. They got several nice gifts. So this is the actual newspaper article about that event. That's very cool. Hold on. Once you move stuff, you can't get back. Okay, so there they are. And it says this: they celebrated their golden wedding anniversary, February 16th, with an open house from 2 to 5 and 7 to 10 in the home of their son-in-law and daughter, Mr. and Mrs. I.E. Perry. So that must be Edna Perry that she was talking about, near Fairfax. Their friends are invited. The couple were married February 17th, 1897 in Atkins. Mr. Elson is a retired farmer. They have 2 daughters, Mrs. E.F. Listabarger and Mrs. Perry, both of Fairfax. Very cool. Golden is that 60? Oh no, 50. Sorry, it says it right there and I had it cut off. 50. And diamond is 60, right? How cool. Alright, well, I do have the next event all lined up for next week. Next Wednesday we'll be on again reading March. And hopefully I'll have some updates for you by then. I'm not sure what day exactly I'm meeting with Jim, but it will be sometime next week, and I am going to record it, so I'm going to make a video for you guys with that. Oh, actually, if you're here and you're interested in that, if you have any questions you want me to ask Jim, send them. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes, and you can let me know, because I'm putting together a list, and like I'm asking him the basic stuff about his family, and you know, like anything he remembers about people that he knew from the diary. Like he knew Edna, the daughter. But like if there's anything specific you guys want to hear, let me know, because I can definitely ask him. But I'm sure it's going to be interesting no matter what. We'll have questions, but it will definitely, I'm sure the conversation will kind of, pictures, anything he can find, the hotel photo. Yes, that's on my list. The hotel photo is on my list, and I've kind of set up my list so far as like person by person. So I have like Edna, picture, question mark, like I want pictures of everybody, yeah. That's why it's really, I think, going to be good to be on a video chat, because I can pull things up and I can show the hotel photo. Although I think we made progress with the hotel photo. And I think, well, Todd's probably in it. And we've kind of compared a little bit to see. But I don't think that the baby is Edna anymore. The daughter Edna. I think we figured out that it's not. Maybe ask if the photo of Todd is from his funeral. Yes, that's a good question. Roger's diary. Yeah, and I think he probably would have told me, he would have said by now if he had any other diaries, because he did mention that the whole family were diary writers, and he knew Edna, the daughter, wrote diaries too, but he didn't have those. Okay, so let me add, is the photo from funeral? I'm going to ask, too, about Edna and her photography. Like, if he knew anything about Edna's photography, and if he has any. Railway photos. Yeah, he did say that his family was very, very involved with the railroad. Like, it was a family thing. You could say if they do, you would love to transcribe the diaries for them. Yeah. Definitely. I think that the diaries from, if Edna's diaries are still around, I think that's probably in another, like, branch of the family, which is a little bit tough to get a hold of right now. Any other fun family stories? Yeah, like the hotel birth. That's true, because he talked about Lloyd being born, allegedly, in the hotel. I would love to, I'm going to add that. Like, I want him to tell me, because he told Grace that story, the reporter. It's in the article, but we haven't really talked about it. And maybe I'll ask him about it being haunted and if he's ever been there, because apparently it's haunted. It's going to be a good conversation, I think. And hopefully we'll ring a bell and he'll be like, oh yeah, I do have a picture of Edna. What about asking if Edna and Nellie stayed friends their whole lives? I think he said they did, but I will confirm that, because I talked to him a long time ago. Like, I was still in school at work. I called him at lunchtime, I remember. Are Edna and Nellie buried next to each other? I can find the answer to that easily right now, but I'm not sure if they're even in the same cemetery. They're definitely not right next to each other. Well, I mean, I don't know that. They're not listed as, like, family members on Find a Grave, of course, but let me see. It's hard to do this while I'm on live. And oh, hi, Grandma. The website is on my link tree. The address is, I can maybe post it in the chat. I don't know if I can do that on here. Can I send a chat? I don't think I can. Oh, you know what, though? I can show it, so hold on. Sorry, I lose all functionality this time of night. This is the website. It's, I think, easier to click on the link in the link tree. So on my TikTok page, if you click under my bio, what does it say? It just says link tree, And then it's called the Weatherman Diary blog on there. Yeah, Edna is in Fairfax Cemetery. Where is Nellie? Yeah, I could share the family tree, definitely. Jim did do some genealogy work and some, like, family history work, but he kind of said he hit... Oh, sorry, Valentina, I'll go back. He said he hit a dead end. So, okay, Nellie is in Murdoch Linwood Cemetery. Yeah, okay. But neither of them married... Neither of them had children. The way that Jim made it sound was that they were, you know, partners through life. But, what was I going to add? I forget. Oh, family tree. I'll show him the family tree. Yeah, I bet his eyes will bug out when he sees all the, when I can actually show him all the work we've done. Oh my god. Like I said earlier, this document is 282 pages long. With the typed... I mean, the font is huge, so that adds to it, definitely, but still. 282. He's gonna think we're crazy. Yeah, probably a little bit. It's giving the 700 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo with these two. I don't know what that is. Is that a book? Yeah, he'll think we're crazy. That's okay. He'll think we're crazy, but he'll get some wonderful family heirlooms out of it. It is a book, okay. Is it a new book? I've heard that. I've heard of it, but I haven't read a book for fun, except for like these diaries I read for fun, but I haven't been able to like sit down and read in a long time. I actually read today for like 10 minutes. I started reading Firefly Lane, which is like not really the type of book I usually go for, but I have nothing to read, and I don't know. It's been so long since I've read a book that I don't even know what genre I like anymore. So I borrowed that from my friend. She said it's good. And I've seen parts of the Netflix series, and it was good, so we'll read that. A woman marries 7 men, but she's in love with a woman all her life. Oh, wow. So exciting that he's alive and you can talk to him. I know. I'm very excited. I've talked to him a little bit, but... Our favorite genre is real-life diaries. I know. This is, like, the most non-fiction you can get, right? That's funny. I said I didn't read for fun, or I didn't read. I read all the time with you guys. It's just a different kind of reading. But yeah, I need to get back into it. I read a couple of good books last year, but I'm kind of all over the place with like genres and stuff. So, all right. Well, it's 8 o'clock here. I guess we can log off. Thanks, Deb. I added all of those. Anyone who chimed in for a question for Jim, I added it to our doc, so I'll bring it up to him. And hopefully by next Wednesday, I'll have at least, I don't know if I'll meet with him by next Wednesday, but next Wednesday we have another live, so you can register for that on my TikTok page. Make sure you follow my YouTube, because that's where I'm going to post the interview with Jim when I'm done with it. So maybe it will be before Wednesday, maybe it'll be after, but we'll see. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, next week is same time, so 6 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know what time it is for you, but Eastern time, 6 p.m. All right. Good night, everybody. To the amazing double Ds. 11 p.m. UK and Ireland. Okay, not too bad. I'm glad we've been starting a little bit earlier for you guys. All right. Bye, everybody. See you next week.